Ladies, most of you are not flattered at all whatsoever by the clean girl aesthetic. You guys know the one. The one with the brushed brows, the lip oil, the glossy skin, and the vibe of having just stepped out of a Pilates class wearing $150 Alo yoga leggings. It's everywhere. It's become the standard at this point, and it's even become the default image of many brands and celebrities that we look up to. But is it actually as good and as flattering for most girls like most people think? Is it something that you should be trying to emulate in your real life and something that actually makes you look better? Or quite the opposite? Are you actually completely washed out and losing your essence and your beauty in this clean girl aesthetic that is also rapidly becoming one of the most boring beauty trends out there? Let's get into it. So I just want to start by saying that I absolutely never wear my hair up, and much less in these kind of like sleek girl, like clean girl aesthetic buns, which is so funny that I'm making this video on a day like today. But I am going to the beach tomorrow and I didn't want to wash my hair again. So just pretend and just understand that this is not my normal hairdo, and you'll see why this is important as we go on. But getting back into the clean girl aesthetic. Clean girl beauty involves very dewy, soft, not fully covered skin that looks like it's breathing and looks very natural and glossy. Natural, light, feathered up brows, slicked back hair, very little if any eyeshadow, very little if any eyeliner. Most of the time it's just a touch of even brown mascara, and that's kind of it. Neutral lips, very minimalist jewelry. I can't really pronounce that word, but even also minimalist clothing, minimalist perfume. It's kind of like emulating old money meets Pilates class with a matcha latte. Some of those things I absolutely love myself, but the point here is that, like we were saying, it's become default. It's become absolutely the image of everything. It's become what everyone is striving for, and I really don't think it suits the vast majority of people. I will get into that. The first problem is that you do need to be financially well off to actually sustain this clean girl image. Sure, you can kind of replicate it with drugstore products, but it's never quite the same. And if you watch TikToks and YouTube videos of the girls that are known, like the it girls that are known for this kind of image, they're not recommending drugstore or Dollar Tree things. They're in fact recommending very expensive, high quality, putting that in quotations because expensive doesn't always mean high quality nowadays, skincare and makeup products. They're also very often recommending skincare and makeup products that are also clean beauty, which are even more expensive and have this kind of clean and luxurious aesthetic. Sort of reminds me of the brand Byredo of perfumes. I used to be a perfume collector, and I used to even do YouTube regarding perfume, so it's something I used to be very passionate about. And Byredo is one of those brands that, sure, they have nice things, but it's more so for that aesthetic than it is actually for the quality of the scents itself or because of how unique they are. And I think that actually relates to all the other products as well, skincare and makeup. The clean girl aesthetic definitely caters to a very specific community and also alienates lots of people. You know, people who may be completely covered in freckles, or people who may have acne or acne scars or unruly hair, textured hair, or even darker skin tones, or just anyone who doesn't actually fit that perfect Instagram mold. The term clean itself really implies that those who are not following that look, or who are doing crazier makeup looks or have a more unruly vibe going on, are not as clean. And you know, there is some positivity to this trend, because it's true that when I was growing up as a teenager or young adult in that makeup golden era on YouTube, for me anyway, it's true that people were going crazy with makeup. I myself, like, I was going insane with the, you know, eyeshadows and the lipsticks and the lashes. So I completely get it that people got tired of that, and they got tired of feeling like they had to spend 2 hours, you know, dressing up themselves like clowns sometimes to just go get like a coffee or whatever it was. So I do get that part, and I do feel like this is a nice step away from that, and it's more like, hey, you actually don't need all of that. You actually look fine with just a little bit of additions here and there. If you have a non-conventionally attractive girl promoting this trend, she probably wouldn't viralize as much as someone who's genuinely just stunning no matter what she wears. It's very much associated to that. I can afford Pilates and 20 matcha lattes a day and probably work from home if I even work vibe. The next problem with this clean girl aesthetic is that it's a big creativity killer.
No more clean girl makeup, I beg you. Like, I cannot see another makeup launch that literally there's no color or anything to it. It is just so bland. Like, there's nothing to it. It's just a plastic product. I need the creativity to come back. I need the colors to come back. I need the textures to come back. I feel so uninspired by like was walking around Sephora and I was like, wow, everything is the same.
I mean, makeup was always a way for us to be expressive, however way we wanted, you know? Some people are not that much into makeup and they prefer themselves to be barefaced, and that was their way of being creative and expressing themselves, whereas other people just enjoy a full face of dramatic AF makeup. However, back in the day, I do feel like makeup was more about color, drama, and being artistic and self-expression. And even though there was certain trends that we're all sticking to, like the crazy brows, the crazy winged liner, and the crazy everything, within that, people were being innovative and creating their own looks. Whereas the clean girl aesthetic kind of sidelines all of that, and it makes people feel as if the only way to have acceptable makeup is if their makeup looks very luxurious but also effortless in a way that is invisible, that you can't even tell they have makeup, and they just look so radiant, clean, natural, and perfect. You can even go into makeup stores nowadays and you see that they're really stripping themselves of all these crazy colors that back in the day used to be so popular. All these crazy eyeshadow palettes and even lipsticks.
The new makeup launches are so boring. New Givenchy bronzer, I mean, this shade range is just so sad. It's 2025. This is like, I mean,
it's all more now about the lip oil, the lip stain, this and that. And even I was talking to a celebrity makeup artist some months ago, and he was saying that even with celebrities, he's seeing this huge trend that kind of annoys him, even though of course, you know, he caters to them because that's his job. But it kind of annoys him because he loves being creative. It's his job. And he loves doing makeup that can enhance his clients' faces. But because of this trend, most of them just want very little minimal makeup. And most of them just want the same thing, even if it doesn't necessarily suit them, which is all a shame, I think. And I almost even think it's becoming kind of like a status thing, you know, like, look at me, how gorgeous I look in this completely effortless makeup. I don't even look like I'm wearing any makeup. I'm so perfect that I don't need it. Not like you ugly ducklings, you need to put on your whole 2016 makeup, because otherwise you can't look like me. I do feel like there's some of that angst there. And I'm not really referring, once again, to people who have always been that way. You know, my mom is someone who has always enjoyed the clean girl aesthetic. Back in her day, it was just wearing minimal makeup, but she's just like that naturally. She enjoys that for herself. I'm not talking about those people, but rather the way that this trend has become so divisive and more of a status symbol of look how good I can look with minimal makeup. And most of these girls, most of these influencers or stars who do preach on this vibe and who do look so amazingly above, you know, the average person with so little makeup, it's because they have lots of procedures. They have lots of money. They're doing all these skincare treatments, Botox, fillers, plastic surgery. They have people teaching them the absolute best techniques. They have access to the best products, to nutritionists, to gym trainers, etc., etc., etc. So of course, it's going to look different on them to wear such easy minimal coverage makeup than it is going to look on the average woman, which I feel like just builds yet another layer of unnecessary comparison that we as women in the social media age do not need.
I'm just not going to sugarcoat it and come right out and say it. I am no longer comfortable with the clean girl aesthetic, because it started off as just a easy, effortless, breezy way to leave the house that didn't require much thought or effort and meant a lot of freedom, has suddenly become a really classist and elitist subdivision of women hating on other women that can do their makeup and are good at doing their makeup. Like, just say you can't do your makeup, Bethany, we'll be fine. I don't know how, where, and when in 2025 this happened, but we've somehow regressed back into Victorian era society, and it's just scaring the shit out of me. So no, I will not be doing clean girl makeup anytime soon until I am having a day where I cannot be bothered putting makeup on. But this whole elitist thing about I just need a ... to leave the house, I'm not in it anymore. I don't need makeup. I choose to wear it because I feel beautiful wearing it. That's the way I choose to express myself. Next.
You know, a trend that seemed like it started out from a place of you're beautiful, natural, just enhance little things here and there if you want, has really just come to represent more so that look at me, I'm so gorgeous and expensive looking, I don't need makeup like you people. Or even to mean those of you who wear crazy makeup, you look like clowns, you look dated, and you don't look clean at all. And now let's move on to, for me, the biggest problem with this clean girl makeup aesthetic, and also my favorite part of this video because I am so passionate about this, and it's the fact that clean girl makeup actually doesn't suit most people, depending on different things. Let's start with color palettes because they have become so popular, you know, in the past few years that I'm sure most of you know that we naturally, as human beings, have different color palettes that flatter us. So in my case, I am a deep autumn. So the colors that flatter me are, the deep autumn ones. They're dark and warm and rich. I'm really washed out by very light pastel-like colors, by very low contrast, by very cool colors. I need more so of that rich, earthy. What does this mean? That I do need some intensity, some coloring in my own clothing, in my own makeup, in my own hair. If I were to go blonde right now, I would probably look extremely washed out. In fact, I did try in the past and it was not a good look for me. If I just wear like pure, very soft, very clean makeup, where I look like I have absolutely nothing on, it probably won't make me stand out. So if you're someone like me with similar coloring, someone who is either a deep autumn or a deep winter, or also a true autumn, even though true autumns could get away a little bit more with the clean girl aesthetic, see Hailey Bieber, or a winter who needs lots of contrast and lots of intense cool colors, or a spring who's someone who's similar like that, they need very intense, in this case bright warm colors, then you're probably not going to be very flattered by clean girl makeup. And if you do need help figuring out your color season, feel free to shoot me a DM. So the seasons that I could see being more flattered by this clean girl aesthetic could probably be maybe light springs. True autumns could possibly get away with it with just maybe a little bit of a darker lip, maybe like a medium tone lip. Soft autumns could get away with it. And I think the summer season could get away with it as well. I have friends who are in the summer season, specifically light summer, and they look amazing with just a little bit of, tinted moisturizer and mascara and a little bit of blush. Something that I would feel completely washed out in when I wanted to look special. Other people who are not flattered by clean girl makeup are women who have stronger visual weight features. And this is a term that was really being thrown around the beauty community on YouTube, and it was driving me crazy because I couldn't figure out if I was higher visual weights or lower visual weights and what this even meant. But just a friendly reminder, I should be sponsored by ChatGPT at this point, that we have ChatGPT in 2025, and you can literally take a selfie of yourself and, ideally send a few more photos, and ChatGPT will read you and will tell you whether your features read as higher visual weights or lower visual weights. Though by this point, I have trained my eye to the point that I can usually determine whether someone has them or not. Heavier visual weight features are just features that draw the eye more strongly. So if you're seeing them, say in real life or more so on a photo or in film, you're just more drawn to their features. And the opposite applies, of course, for lower visual weight features. They carry less presence on camera and in film than those stronger, more intense features that are usually more blunt, more angular, larger, deeper set, more defined, have stronger contrast, whereas lower visual weight features are softer, the opposite of all these things, less defined, smaller, instead of deeper set, more protruding, just softer in general. To give you a very easy example, someone that has a very strong jaw, they would probably carry more visual weight, at least in that area. We would have to see the rest of their features, than someone that has a very delicate, soft jaw. So the third kind of people that just don't look so good with this clean girl aesthetic is people that have more yang in their bone structure, in the way they're read, in their physicality in general, in their essences in general, than they have yin. What does this mean? I'm relating specifically to the Kibbe and Kitchener essence and body typing systems, specifically to Kibbe because I am very well studied in that. So once again, if you need any help figuring out your Kibbe type, you can feel free to contact me. Kibbe basically has different types for women and for men also, but specifically women in this case, and it's based on women's physicality and the essence that they give up. So it takes women's bone structure and the flesh that sits on top of the bone structure. I know it sounds weird, but we can get into this in a different video if you're interested, and also their essence. So let's say somebody who has very soft features and is very small, very rounded in their physicality is not going to be looking good in the same kind of clothing, makeup, hair than someone who has very strong, bold, angular features, say like a supermodel. Likewise, some people just look better in more relaxed, casual things, whereas others just look more composed, more geometric, or all different sorts of styles. So for people who fall into certain Kibbe body types or Kibbe identities, they are not going to be flattered that much by the clean girl makeup, simply because their own natural physicality, their own bone structure, their own essence just needs way more drama, way more boldness, and way more definition than a little bit of lip oil and a little bit of mascara. And on camera, I think I'll put some people that I think could really pull off this clean girl, less makeup aesthetic. And I'll put some women as well whose beauty I think is way more highlighted by more intense, more defined, stronger makeup. If you need help with any of this or integrating any of these things, figuring out what's your visual weight, your kiwi, and your color type to determine what kind of makeup and clothing will look good on you, just feel free to shoot me a DM and we can figure it out together. And finally, let's not forget that personal style matters. Take someone like me whose natural features just really fight the delicacy of clean girl makeup. Even delicate jewelry on me is just not really a thing. But let's say my personal style and my personal expression and the way I enjoy this whole creativity thing goes towards that route. I enjoy wearing very dainty things, very minimal makeup, and whatever it is that's associated with this trend. If that is my personal style, then who cares? That's really the most important thing at the end of the day. And I say this because there's so many women who are the opposite ends of that. They just wanna, go crazy and do clown makeup or do intense cinematic makeup or do whatever it is that rocks their boats, and they feel like they can't because once again, the trend for brands, for actresses, for models, for influencers, for it seems everybody and their mother is this clean girl aesthetic. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but if you like to wear blue lipstick and red eyeshadow and crazy contour, go for it, girl. Who cares what the brands are doing? And on that same note, clean girl has really become the norm, and because of that, it is becoming more boring. At first, it was revolutionary. It was quite the shift from the 2015 eyeshadow epoch or whatever that was. But now people are starting to realize that it really just looks the same on everyone, that everyone is trying to look the same yet again. And this is a sentiment that people on Reddit have been talking about, and even people on TikTok. They're really becoming tired of the lack of creativity and expression that is taking place within this pattern. So where is this all headed? It does seem from articles that I've been reading that the tide is starting to change and people are starting to get more so back into that soft glam. Maybe not the craziness that we had back in 2015, which personally I thought it was so fun, but I agree, we're way past that. Unless you like it, then all power to you. God knows, I have my days when I'm still recreating those looks. But it does seem like we're getting back more into that soft glam energy. Things like the mop wife aesthetic, which I absolutely love, are resurfacing, and the clean girl is still there, but it's kind of evolving and people are adding their own touches of personality into it. Something which I love. I think we can all have our own clean girl version, but just with touches that will make it look more like our own and highlight our own personal beauty. So despite all those features that I talked about, the lower or the higher visual weight, the kibi type, the Kitchener essence, or the color palettes, we can all find a way to find that clean girl beauty that makes us stand out. It would just have to be very specifically tuned to our own kind of beauty and our own kind of features, which is something that once again we can figure out in another video or we can talk through Instagram. So yeah guys, I just want to leave it at that. I would love to hear what you have to say about this trend. Remember to do whatever makes you happy, whether it's this, whether it's absolutely no makeup and just some sunscreen, or whether it's crazy makeup. You do whatever you want and whatever makes you happy. It's your face at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your style, and it's literally your life. Let me know in the comment sections where you think this trend is going, what your own personal style makeup is, what other videos would you like to see based on this, and I will see you very soon.